the enemies we don't know. It is a measure of how powerful the U.S. military is and how poor the media is that the nation wages war against peoples and countries it knows nothing about. It does it, gets chastened or beaten, vows not to do it again, and of course does it again and again. When U.S. forces hit Vietnam, it did so almost as an afterthought to assist a beaten European ally, France, and in support of what scholars and analysts both called the domino theory, as if Vietnam fell, all of Asia would tumble like dominoes. This theory, like many such ones in support of imperial wars, was false. Decades later, one of the war's foremost hawks, U.S. Defense Secretary McNamara, would admit that American leaders knew next to nothing about Vietnam, its history, language, or culture, and that such ignorance made victory virtually impossible. Then Somalia, then Iraq, now Libya. How many of us know that much of the internal war is driven by tribal conflicts? That one of the major eastern tribes, the Senussi, lost power and influence when King Idris was overthrown in 1969 by the Free Officers Movement, of which Colonel Gaddafi was a part. That many of them don't want a democracy but want the kingdom restored. That many flew flags of the House of Idris, a Western puppet like Farouk of Egypt or the Shah of Iran during initial rebellion. Does it seem strange to you that Western so-called democracies are fighting on the side of kings? Oh, and backwards, poor Libya. Did you know that Libya has the highest per capita GDP in Africa, higher than South Africa? Or that it had one of the highest rates of literacy in the Arab world, almost 20% higher than Egypt? I didn't either. I read it, and to check it, I looked it up. We don't know, because it's not in the interest of the corporate forces which owns and uses the media for us to know. 10 years after the Afghanistan war started, and 8 years after the Iraq war began, and we haven't learned a damn thing. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noel Hanrahan of Prison Radio.